last night I released a video about a really interesting Pokemon lawsuit. Although it's not a lawsuit yet, I don't believe any actual litigation has moved forward yet, but they're looking at moving forward with a lawsuit, and that was a weird one. But if you thought that was a weird lawsuit, wait until you see this one. But before we pull this up, let me just say, if you are celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I do hope you have a great day. Now let's take a look at this this write-up. So this is from scmp.com, South China Morning Post, and they write, man sues NetEase after his friend sells a US $1.4 million game character for US $500. Now they specify the currency because this occurred in China. And, South China Morning Post is the news site, so I guess they want to clarify that. Now the subtitle, the court intervened and NetEase revoked the transaction while the buyer got nearly $13,000 in damages. But the story is a bit more interesting than that. There's a number of very, very weird things going on with this story, and I think you can instantly see that. Let's start with the fact that it's possible for a character in this game to apparently be worth $1.4 million. That's pretty insane. The other insane thing is that apparently this one of the friends loaned the character to his friend, and his friend tried to then sell the character. But what they don't tell you in the headline is that the friend tried to sell that character back to the friend that loaned it to him. This is crazy. Let's read. This article originally appeared on ABACUS. A man in China took his friend to court for selling a game character he spent $1.4 million on for just $552. The man filed a proceeding against his friend and NetEase after the friend mistakenly sold off the character from the MMORPG Justice Online for just 3,888 won, US equivalent of $552. Now, that's what the mistake is, that he sold it for too little. Not that he was trying to basically steal the character from the friend and sell it. That wasn't the mistake. It was the figure. Let's continue. The defendant said he was trying to sell the character back to his friend. Absolutely insane. For 388,000 won, US equivalent of $55,138, as he had been given the character to play. He attributed the typo to being dizzy from excess gaming at the time. So he puts it up apparently on this market. Well, I'll just continue reading and you'll get the full story and we'll talk about it after. But the moment the character was seen on NetEase's in-game marketplace, it was snatched up by another buyer. The case was ultimately settled with the mediation of a judge online. NetEase revoked the transaction, and the plaintiff paid the buyer 90,000 won, US equivalent to $12,789 roughly, in damages. I'm curious how they got to that figure. I wish they included some of the legal briefings, but apparently this happened in mediation, so I don't think we'll know how they got to that figure. So it finishes off with this. After the settlement, the local court in Sichuan posted on social media that the case was a great example of protection of digital assets, and it warned gamers not to spend too much in video games. Okay, so after the settlement, not mediation, my bad. And they write this in the subtext here for this picture. The local court touted this case as an example of how judges can mediate cases remotely. I don't know. I think they just maybe used some of the wording a little bit loosely there. But no, yeah, it says ultimately settled the mediation of a judge online. So I guess, this is weird. I mean, judges don't usually mediate things in the U.S. courts. That's something that you usually actually bring a third party in. It's not the judge or the attorneys. You usually bring a mediation expert. You have the parties sit in separate rooms. You meet at the same location generally, go to separate rooms, have the mediator talk to both parties, try to find some middle ground where they can settle on. But it looks like the article is alleging that this was mediated by the judge, which is odd. But again, man, this happened in China. So let's go through the other odd things. That's something odd. And as we discussed already, there's a number of other odd things here. The $1.4 million character, the friend who loaned it to a friend. I mean, listen, doing nice things for friends is nice, but 1.4 mil? Whoa. And then the friend apparently stealing it and trying to sell it back. All kinds of weirdness going on here. And then, him accidentally selling it for only 3,888 won, not 388,000 won. and saying it was because he was dizzy from excessive gaming. And the really funny thing is the way the article ends. The local court in Sichuan posted on social media that the case was a great example of protection of digital assets, and it warned gamers not to spend too much in video games. And that's the article. I don't have much else to say about this. Very odd story, very weird. I found this entertaining, though, and I hope you also found it entertaining. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you next time.